Hello, welcome everyone to take advantage of a down market. Consider a Roth conversion. I'm really glad that you're here. Know that this is being recorded and it will be available on my website for future reference. I'm excited to go over this with you because we're actually in the middle of this perfect storm. And we've had tax reform change that is affecting tax brackets. There's been a state market decline. We've had stimulus response as a result of that. And altogether, that's made a very opportunistic time for us. We'll go over all of those pieces together. Let me first introduce myself. To those who I've not met, I am a financial planner with a company called Equanimity Wealth Planning and Investing in Madison, Wisconsin. And my name again is Carrie Waters-Schmidt. I have been operating out of the offices of Lincoln Financial Advisors in Madison. And I've been in the financial industry since 2001 and with Lincoln since 2004. I have a master's degree in financial planning. I've earned the Certified Financial Planner certification. And I've also earned several other designations that support my focus of work on socially responsible investments, so investing with your moral compass, financial planning for the LGBTQ community, and financial planning for those undergoing divorce or who are recently divorced. Here's some disclosures, and you're welcome to read them on your own time. Here's our agenda. So we're going to go over some details of a long-term strategy called a Roth conversion. And we'll start with a definition of what a Roth IRA is. Then we'll talk about how to convert an IRA to a Roth IRA. We'll go over reasons why you would want to convert to a Roth IRA, and more specifically, why now. And then lastly, we'll go over the different plans that can be converted to a Roth and the steps that are entailed in that. So let's get started. What is a Roth IRA? Quite a few people know what this is. We'll go over it again right now. It's a retirement account where already tax dollars are contributed, and then all subsequent growth is tax-free as long as it's accessed after age 59 and a half or afterwards. Roth IRAs are not an investment per se, but it's instead a bunch of rules that are attached or snapped onto an account. So it could be a savings account, an annuity, a mutual fund or a brokerage account, stock or a bond portfolio, even a REIT, real estate investment trust. There's lots of other options too, but it's basically an investment where you're applying Roth rules to that investment. These Roth rules include maximum amounts of money that you can contribute per year. And not everyone can contribute. The annual contribution limit for 2020 is $6,000 plus another $1,000 if you're over 50, age 50. And there are income limits. So between $124,000 for income for individuals in 2020 or $196,000 for couples, there starts to be a phase out, saying that your eligibility for contribution is starting to phase out. Once you're in an individual and you're earning over $139,000 or couples earning over $206,000, you're unable to even contribute at all. Now there's no withdrawals of growth or interest that can be made prior to age 59 and a half without a penalty and taxation. You also need to have the dollars stay in there for the first 5 years. Otherwise, if you pull out before then, there is penalty and taxation. You can have tax-free withdrawals for up to $10,000 for a first-time home purchase. You can make withdrawals for college tuition, medical care costs, or birth or adoption costs. Those can all be tax-free and penalty-free. And lastly, all of the money you've contributed or put in, you might know this as principal or corpus, can be withdrawn tax-free, penalty-free, And that's why some people view this as emergency money before considering other accounts, retirement accounts to liquidate because of that feature. What is a Roth conversion? Roth conversion is the act of paying taxes on a retirement plan that has not been taxed and making that then into a Roth IRA. So once the taxes have been paid on it, it's a Roth IRA, and all those Roth IRA rules I just mentioned will now apply to the account. Some might think that you would need to do this by first selling the shares in your investment in that pre-tax account, and then repurchasing them again inside the Roth account. And fortunately, this is not the case. Many conversions can be made in kind, meaning the shares transfer over intact. So you're essentially just changing the taxability on the shares, not selling and then rebuying. Why do this? Why do you want to pay taxes on something that you'd already put into an account without taxes? Maybe at one point you did this because it was your only choice. Many employer plans, right, are pre-tax. Or maybe you were even doing it because you were being strategic to lower your taxable income. And the reason that happens is when money goes into it without taxation, that means you're lowering the amount of taxes you have to pay on income for that year. Okay? So why would you backtrack and go the opposite, pay the tax on something that you strategically, or maybe not strategically, had placed into something that was pre-tax? Well, paying the taxes on this account now will increase your taxable income, we're saying. But there's a few reasons why you would want to consider this. So again, the rules say there's this maximum amount one person can put into a Roth IRA per year. Remember, it was that $6,000 I said in 2020. And if you're wanting to put more money in a Roth, more than the $6,000 per year, you just can't. It's not able to be done. And so this is a way that you can put more than that maximum into your account. How? Well, it's because there aren't any maximums for conversion. Okay? Again, not everyone can contribute to a Roth IRA either. So there are income limits. So this is a way that someone who earns way too much money can actually convert money into this IRA, this Roth, and not have that income limit affect them. You could make $1 million a year of income. You can still convert. Another big reason why you want to convert, or you might want to convert to a Roth IRA is due to the recent Secure Act. And this has made it so that in general, inheritances of retirement accounts can no longer be stretched out over your lifetime. And instead, the inheritor now has 10 years to liquidate that entire account value, pay taxes on it essentially. So this could cause a tax burden on the inheritor, as you might imagine. Well, actually, let's just say if you inherited a large, say, $500,000 IRA, the Secure Act states that you have to pay taxes on whatever you withdraw from there, which means it's going to be a taxable burden for you. And this could easily raise your tax burden. So this could cause a tax burden for the inheritor. And if you're thinking about this being as an investment for someone else other than you, you think of your heirs. You may want to make it something so that they are no longer going to have to pay taxes on, right? So if instead they inherited a Roth IRA, $500,000, they can wait all 10 years if they wanted to make that withdrawal. And when that withdrawal comes out at the end of year 10, none of it will be taxable. That's powerful. You have all 10 years for that to grow without any taxation on the growth. Very big. So yes, they still have to make the withdrawals. Those rules still apply, but it's not going to be a taxable issue for them. Let's talk about why you may want to do this now. If there's something called the CARES Act. It eliminated the 2020 RMD as part of the stimulus package. making it so seniors don't have to make an annual withdrawal in 2020 from their pre-tax accounts. And because there is no age limit on conversions, you might consider making what you would normally have to take as an RMD, make that withdrawal, but turn it into a tax-free growth account, turn it into a Roth. So you're paying the taxes on the same amount of money as you normally would. You're just moving it into a bucket of money now that will grow and never be forced to make an RMD, required minimum distribution on, and it will grow without taxation. So this is something that you can only do for this year. Like I said, it was a result of the most recent downturn in the market. And so you could look at taking the amount that you would normally have done, pay the taxes on it, and instead of withdrawing that money, you're converting it. As I said, your taxability is no different, but you're changing it for your future and the inheritor's future as well. And another reason why you may want to convert to a Roth IRA now is because you're buying low, right? So you're getting more bang for your buck, so to speak. Let's look at the chart I've got here. I charted the historical price of the Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF investment. You can look it up online. The ticker is VOO. You'll see that if you bought one share of Vanguard's S&P 500 ETF last year, in March on the 15th, 2019, you would have bought at $259.85 for that one share. And if we look a year later, on March 13th, 2020, the market was not open on the 15th. Due to the market decline, the price had dropped to $247.64 for one share. So if you wanted to spend that same amount that you did last year in 2019, you would be buying 1.05 shares, so a little more than one share, right? That's a 4.6% discount from March. Another way to think of this is by looking at the share price in the future versus now. In the long run, this is just a quick moment in time that's lost, right? So this is the opportunity where time is of the essence. This price is not going to last forever. So let's pretend this same share price for Vanguard's S&P 500 is actually worth $255, meaning if it was accurately priced, not selling at more or less than it's worth, or you might also know this as not selling as a premium or a discount, but it is selling for $247.64. That means I'm buying it at a 3% discount. Okay? If you converted this investment to a Roth, you would be paying taxes on only 97% of that real value, right? So that means I just got 3% difference, the difference there, 3%, coming back to me all in a tax-free way. Imagine this same scenario on an investment that lost even more than 3%. Many things in the market have lost much more than 3%, perhaps even 25%. You would be paying taxes in that situation on 75% of the account value. So you're essentially getting 25% difference back, all on a tax-free basis. What's more is the long-term effects on this, as now all the future growth is going to be tax-free. So let's look at it as this bar graph here. This is a hypothetical situation. The black outline right here, rectangle, is the current true value of your share, okay? And we've got our pink being the taxable amount because that's what the value is today. The green is that inherent tax-free growth because we know that this whole account is worth, or the share price is really worth what's in that black box, right? So we're going to pay taxes on that amount. And then anything that's in this light blue or green colored box is going to be tax-free growth. So again, that green piece there in the middle, that's the amount that we know right now is truly the discount for if it was accurately priced for today. And all the cream colored is that long-term tax-free growth, saying I know this thing is going to keep growing past what it's worth today because it's going to be worth so much more 20 years down the road, right? Anything that's in that blue, light green colored box is all tax free. We want that to be as large as possible, right? Okay, lastly, definitely not leastly though, you might think of this because you might be in a lower tax bracket now. And maybe now than where we are in perhaps the near future and perhaps in the long-term future as well. So why do I say that? Because of the recent Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, many people found themselves in a lower tax bracket, some people considerably lower. And this is only temporary. This is going to be reverting back or sunsetting back to the old rates that we had when 2026 comes. Okay? So we only have up until 2025 to use these tax brackets to our advantage. So we also don't know where these tax brackets are going, right? We are growing a large deficit, and that deficit needs to be paid somehow. My thought is someone is going to increase taxes along the way between the time that now we're looking at it and the time that I retire at least. And so you may be in a considerably higher tax bracket than you are right now. So let's assume you file married, filing jointly, and your combined taxable income is $225,000. We're going to look on this grid. And in today's world, you are in a 24% tax bracket. If you look in the old world, you would say that you were in a 28% tax bracket. You're getting a deal. Let's take this a little further then. So again, if your joint taxable income is $225,000, you would have been in that 28% tax bracket before the tax reform happened. Now you're in a 24, like we said. You can still earn another $96,450 in taxable income and still be in the same tax bracket as you are right now, 24%, which is still lower than what you would have said, right? You would have been in the 28% tax bracket. So paying 24% on something now that would otherwise cost you 28 just makes sense. So there's our 96,450 additional. Fill up that tax bracket. We're going to look at it more visually here. If you were in the 28% tax bracket before, in 2017, and now you're in this lower tax bracket, we can look at it and say, with this bucket here, under your old taxable bracket, you were in the 28%, you're in the 24 now. You can convert as much pre-tax money as possible to get you up to where you used to be. It wouldn't really be much different. Tax, in the end, tax percentage-wise. Okay. In this case, the tax brackets go from 24 up to 32%. So I'd say go all the way up, right, as much as you can, up to that the bottom of the 32% tax bracket. The difference there, like we said, was $96,000. You pay your taxes on that now, and now you're saving for all the future growth tax-free, right? Now, some people might go, that's a lot of money, but not enough money. $96,000, maybe that whole situation applied to you. But you have an account that's worth $500,000. You can do this incrementally. So you can look at your accounts from the $500,000, take $96,450 this year, leave the remaining balance in your 401k or in your IRA. And next year, do this calculation all over again, find out what it is between your current income and the maximum income that you can have in that same tax bracket and convert that amount. Like I said, you can do that for the next 5 years. That can turn into a lot of money. All right. What pre-tax plans can I convert? You might be thinking to yourself, I like this idea because this really is that perfect storm that we've been talking about. So what accounts do you have, or do you know your family members may have that could be used for this strategy? Most any pre-tax retirement account can be converted. That's the good news. You can convert a traditional IRA, which some people may know as a pre-tax IRA. You can convert a non-deductible IRA. You can also convert past employer plans if you've got an old 401k or an old simple IRA or SEP IRA, maybe a 457 deferred comp plan. Note that simples do have some extra rules, but nonetheless, you're most likely able to convert them. It also might surprise you to know that you are able to convert parts of your current employer's 401k plan. That's considered an in-service withdrawal. You need to check with your HR department or your summary plan description to see if that is allowable in your plan, and if so, you can make that withdrawal and you can do the conversion right now. Now that you've identified that plan that you've got, that you want to convert, let's go over the details on how you do the conversion. So it's actually not very complicated. It's just kind of a lot of paperwork. So there's 3 possible conversion processes. We'll first go over the steps to convert an IRA. That's that top line in the green. First, you need to open a Roth IRA. You need to have one open so that the money can come from a pre-tax account and have someplace to go, right? So if you already have a Roth IRA, great. Skip that step. Now you need to go over to the IRA account and you need to fill out a conversion request. So they have conversion paperwork, and the money will then just be taken from the IRA. You'll pay the taxes on it. They'll come into the Roth IRA, and now you've done your conversion. You can, when the funds transfer, that triggers that taxability from the IRA, and you can have the taxes withheld from the IRA if you'd like, so that you don't have to pony up the money at the end of the year, outside money, though it is not the most preferred way to go, and we can talk about that if you have questions. Now, if instead of an IRA, you're converting an old employer plan that's sitting around and say this is still the old 401k, that's that middle pink row. And it's similar to converting an IRA, but there is a little step in between. So you can't go directly from an employer plan into a Roth IRA. First needs to go into an IRA. So if you don't have an IRA or don't have a Roth IRA, you need to open both of those. Then you move the money, you roll it into the IRA from the employer plan, and then you fill out that same paperwork to convert the IRA to the Roth. Again, same taxation trigger. Okay. Lastly, if you're looking to convert some of your existing employer's 401k plan, again, you need to make sure that you can do a withdrawal, in-service withdrawal through your employer's plan. But that 401k will need a withdrawal request, often through a form from HR or the vendor, or sometimes even a phone call will do. Then the account needs to go from the old employer plan into an IRA, just like that middle line in there, to an IRA. Then you convert it to a Roth, and you're good to go. So again, we can't forget the many good reasons on why we should consider this Roth conversion and why now. Again, being in a down market, that doesn't last forever. And so the market being down, and even perhaps being down drastically, is an opportunity, right? And it's not going to last forever. The required minimum distributions you were supposed to be taking, if you're over 70 and a half or 72, you were supposed to be taking those in 2020, but you don't have to. Why not consider still making that withdrawal and keeping the taxation the same, but converting it, right? This is unprecedented. Use that wisely. And there's also now an incentive to do this because the tax reform may have made this a very sweet deal for you. And of course, we know that there may be many other factors that you need to speak with your advisor about, but it's not just about the current price, right? It's all the future growth that's going to be tax-free. Thank you for spending some time with me today. I hope you learned a little something. If you've got any questions and you would like to talk privately or would like to schedule an appointment with me, you can contact me or my assistant, Dania. I really do hope to talk with you more soon. My information and Dania's information is right here on this slide. Please contact us at any time.